Before you listen, make sure you're truly alone. Turn off the lights, lower the volume just enough so you have to focus. And if you hear something in your house while this story plays, don't pause it. Because tonight's story isn't about monsters. It isn't about ghosts. It's about the moment you realize the thing you were afraid of was already inside your home. This story was sent to me by someone who swears it really happened. They said the police found no signs of forced entry, no fingerprints, no explanation, just one message left behind. So listen carefully, and remember, being home alone doesn't mean you're safe. Let's begin. The first thing I noticed was the silence, not the normal kind, the kind that hums softly when a house settles at night, but a silence so deep it felt intentional, like something was holding its breath with me. Mom and Dad had left at 7:12 p.m. I remembered the time because the digital clock on the microwave blinked once when the front door shut, as if it had flinched. "Lock up," Mom had said. "We'll be back tomorrow morning," Dad added. I locked the door, then the deadbolt, then the chain. I was 16, old enough to be alone, old enough to tell myself I wasn't afraid. At 9:03 p.m., the TV turned off by itself. I assumed it was the sleep timer. I turned it back on. The volume was muted. I hadn't muted it. At 9:07 p.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Are you alone? I stared at the screen. My chest tightened. I typed, "Who is this?" The message didn't send. No signal. That's when I heard the first sound. A single footstep. Upstairs. I froze. The house creaked sometimes. Pipes knocked. Wood shifted. I knew that. But this wasn't a creak. This was weight. Slow. Careful. Like someone testing the floor. I grabbed the kitchen knife from the counter and whispered, "Hello?" Nothing answered. I told myself it was my imagination. I told myself fear makes patterns out of noise. Then the upstairs hallway light turned on. I hadn't turned it on. I backed into the living room, knife shaking in my hand, eyes locked on the staircase. The light upstairs flickered once, twice, then stayed solid. And I heard breathing. Not mine. It was coming from the top of the stairs. Deep. Wet. Patient. I ran. I locked myself in my parents' bedroom and dialed 911. The call rang, then dropped. That's when the house spoke. From the hallway, a voice, my voice, said softly, "Why are you hiding?" My stomach twisted violently. "I'm not hiding," the voice continued. "I've been here the whole time." Something scraped against the door. Fingernails, slowly dragging down the wood. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My body felt detached, like it didn't belong to me anymore. Then my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. "You didn't lock the back door." I remembered. I hadn't. The scraping stopped. Footsteps moved away from the bedroom door, down the hall, down the stairs, toward the kitchen, toward the back door. I heard it open, then close. I waited. Minutes passed, maybe longer. I don't know. Finally, I opened the bedroom door. The house was dark again. The silence returned. But now it felt wrong, heavy, crowded. I went downstairs. The kitchen knife was gone. On the table sat my phone. The screen was on. A video was playing. It was me, asleep, in my bed, recorded from the corner of my room. Behind me, in the video, something stood in the doorway. Tall, too thin, its head bent sideways, like it didn't understand how necks worked. Its mouth opened wider than a mouth should. The video ended. I heard breathing behind me. I turned. The front door was open, and written on the inside of it, carved deep into the wood, were 4 words. You were never alone. The lights went out, and the last thing I felt was hands, cold, familiar, and exactly the same size as mine, closing around my throat. After that night, I stopped sleeping in my bedroom. I told myself it was temporary. Trauma response. Shock. That's what people online called it when I searched for answers I didn't want to find. But deep down, I knew the truth. Something had changed inside the house. The police came when my parents returned. They searched every room, every closet, the attic, the crawl space beneath the stairs. They found nothing. No fingerprints on the door. No sign of forced entry. No footprints in the dirt outside. One officer stood longer than the others in my bedroom. He stared at the corner near the ceiling. "Do you usually keep a camera up there?" he asked. I told him no. He nodded slowly and wrote nothing down. That night, my parents slept peacefully. I didn't. At 2:17 a.m., the hallway floor creaked. Someone was awake. I held my breath and listened. The sound didn't come closer. It stayed still, right outside my door. Then came the whisper. Not loud, not urgent, almost affectionate. Still pretending? I covered my ears. The whisper continued anyway. Inside my head now, vibrating behind my eyes. "I learned you," it said. "Your voice, your fear, your shape." I screamed. My parents rushed in. The hallway was empty. But my door was open. I know I locked it. The next morning, my mom found something scratched into the inside of my closet door. Tiny letters, deep grooves. So small you'd miss them if you weren't looking. "I fit better when you're asleep," they wanted to move. I begged them to. But houses don't let go that easily. The first night in the new place, I woke up to breathing, right next to my bed. Slow, careful, learning again. I didn't open my eyes. I felt the mattress dip. My hand, brushed my cheek, and something whispered, "Home is wherever you are." I sleep with the lights on now. I lock every door, but sometimes, when I catch my reflection late at night, it blinks when I don't, and smiles a little too wide. Ending. If you're hearing this story right now, check your phone. If there's a message waiting, one you didn't remember sending, don't reply. Because once it learns how you sound when you're afraid, it never leaves. It just waits.